Hello, I'm ArchieLuxury and welcome to the ArchieLuxury show. I get heaps and heaps of emails, and some of them are from crackpots, and other emails I get are from quite nice people. And I recently had a request which I'd like to share with my YouTube audience. I'll just read it. Hi Archie, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Emily. I'm a fashion promoter with a background in luxury branding. I am currently putting together a documentary and series of portraits of people obsessed with luxury, and you seem like the perfect person to contact. I plan to exhibit the work in London, that's the UK, and blah blah blah. She goes on to say the ideal interviewee will have a love for luxury and a large collection of luxury goods. I would love to know more about you and discuss the project further. I hope you are interested. I look forward to hearing from you. That was from Emily. So I wrote back to Emily and I said to her, look, I'm more than happy to assist. I explained that I'm actually in Australia, and I said, look, I've got a huge library of pictures I'm happy to share with her. And so what I've decided to do is she sent me a few questions, and I kind of thought it'd be a great way to talk to my YouTube audience and sort of explain a bit about my collections and why I collect what I collect. So let's have a bit of a look at that there. So firstly, who is ArchieLuxury? Well, I'm ArchieLuxury. My name is Paul, and my friends call me Archie, and I run the ArchieLuxury channel on YouTube, and you can see a picture of me on the screen here. This is when I was working for KBR. That's the big American company that used to be part of Halliburton, and I'm actually wearing my Patek Philippe white gold Calatrava watch there, and so that's basically who I am. A bit more about ArchieLuxury. I'm turning 40. The year is 2012. I'm married and I have a beautiful Japanese wife, and we have two lovely boys together. My wife loves luxury goods, and we both it's a hobby that we both enjoy there. And my wife works as a registered nurse, and Archie works as an IT contractor, systems administrator. And whilst I certainly wouldn't say I was filthy rich, I certainly wouldn't say I was poor. I'd say I'm middle class, and a lot of the collecting that I've done has been done over a period of time, and I've had an interest in luxury goods since my teen years. So that's where the desire to collect luxury items started from. Now, to have a look at my luxury collection, which is it's something that's really been built up over the last 10 years. A good question is, what do I collect, and how much have I spent on it? And look, one thing I will stress is that I really look for bang per buck. Most of the items in my collection I have bought on the secondary or auction market, and what I try and do is I try and buy things which I can always sell for the same price or make money on. So realistically, what I'm trying to do with the things that I collect, I want to buy them on the used market, and if I don't like that item anymore, or I want to upgrade, or I want to buy something else, it makes it possible to sell that, get most of your money back, if not make a profit, and reinvest it into a new item. So that's one of the reasons why I very, very rarely do buy things new, because if you buy things new, it's very, very tough to get your money back. My collection itself, I would say, what do I collect, and what does it consist of? Well, I would have to say my collection itself, I collect luxury goods, and that comprises of a few things which I'll discuss in a minute there. The retail replacement price of my collection in Aussie dollars, which is roughly the same as US dollars, my retail collection is probably retail replacement $350,000. And how much have I actually spent of my own money on my collection? I'd say it'd probably be just a bit over $100,000. So that's to give you an idea of what retail replacement is and what I actually did spend on it. My collection itself, what does it consist of? Well, as I say, I collect luxury goods, and that's quite a lot of different items. I love luxury watches. Now, when I say luxury watches, we're talking top echelon brands. The best brand in wristwatches is Patek Philippe. My wife has a Patek Philippe. I've got a Patek Philippe. For my wife, I've got a couple of solid gold Cartier watches for her. She's got 2 solid gold Cartier pieces. She's also got a Rolex. And for myself, I've got some beautiful watches. I mentioned the Patek. I've also got a Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso. It's a very, very good brand. I've got 2 Audemars Piguet watches. I've got some classic sports. I've got a Rolex Explorer, an Omega Speedmaster Men on the Moon. I've got a Royal Oak, Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. So I've got a fairly nice collection of watches. At any one stage, I have between 10 and 15 watches. I find that as a number is probably, I'm a collector who likes to use everything that I have. So I mean, any more than that, and I find I'm not giving them enough wrist time. Any fewer than that, and I'm craving to buy more. So that's luxury wristwatches is a big part of my collection. And when I say luxury wristwatches, what does that mean? Well, that means the piece would have to retail over $6,000 to $10,000. That's what it'd have to be retailing. Like the Patek, for example, my Patek is about just under $30,000. It retails for. When I say luxury, it has to be top-end brands there. The next collection that I really enjoy is our Louis Vuitton collection. Now, Louis Vuitton, of course, is that famous French maker of suitcases, and this is a collection that my wife really enjoys as well, because she's always loved Louis Vuitton handbags and accessories like that. And I myself have always loved the suitcases and the briefcases themselves there. So that represents a good chunk of our collection. The retail replacement price of our Louis Vuitton collection is a smidgen over $100,000. So that's to give you a bit of an idea of what that is there. And obviously a lot of pieces I have bought on from auctions and things like that there, so I've paid a lot less than that. But a lot of Louis Vuitton pieces for my wife I have bought new from the shop. So that's a collection we really enjoy. I've got a few sub collections which sort of go with the luxury type collection that we have there. I really love some diamonds, and I've managed to buy my wife the following diamonds you can see on the screen there. So she's got a a beautiful 1-carat ring. She's got a couple of other rings there. She's got a lovely set of earrings. She's got a lovely diamond pendant. So that's our diamond collection there. And obviously I've also got a lovely pearl collection. This is a South Sea pearl collection there. And to give you an idea, that strand of pearls that you see on the screen there, that the retail replacement for insurance on that there is about the $17,000 mark. So as you can see there, you know, I'm more someone who wants quality over quantity. I'd rather have one good set of pearls instead of 4 mediocre sets. So I suppose that's what I'm trying to do with my collections, is to have perfection. And another adjunct to that is that I've got a collection of Cartier clocks. I mean these are just simple, gorgeous little clocks. I mean, replacement retail, that'd probably be about $3,000 to $4,000 each, replacement retail. And I've especially hunted pieces which are no longer in production. So a lot of my clocks here they're sort of like 20, 30 years old, but I've tried to get absolutely mint examples of them, and that's what I enjoy with my collection. And a lot of my collections too, I've also got you know, naturally having beautiful watches, having jewelry for the wife, having Louis Vuitton. I've also then got things like luxury pens. So at the moment I'm using a Cartier fountain pen, but I've got about 10 high-end pens which I've collected, and you know, it's just little things like I've got a pair of Cartier sunglasses. I mean, that's a $1,500 item new, you know, so that I've kind of, it's more so than collecting just one thing, like just wristwatches or just Louis Vuitton. I have a range of luxury items. So it's more the luxury lifestyle of items that I try and collect there. So that's the main collections that I do have there. And another adjunct to my luxury type collections there is that I've collected some really gorgeous luxury toys. I've got a luxury steam engine collection, and you know, those are kind of adult, you know, high-end type toy. They're all made in England or Germany, you know, none of this Chinese stuff. And whilst they aren't worth huge money, you know, that probably retail, you're probably looking, you know, $10,000 there. So that's the kind of things I've tried to build into my collection. So I try and collect beautiful things, and that's always the aim there. Why do I collect luxury items? Well, let me tell you a story there. Many years ago, when I actually started my own business when I was in high school, I was selling computer parts, and I started to make decent money. And when I turned 19, actually when I was 18, I bought a brand new car, a little Mazda Astina. When I turned 19, I traded that in for a BMW 3 Series. And then, you know, it's one of these things, if you're making decent money, you say, well, what's a nice watch to have? What's a nice briefcase to have? And I bought a Rolex Explorer watch. This was in 1990, and I got it from I was in the computer business, and I had a client who was a jeweler, and I said to him, look, just get me the cheapest Rolex you can. So he got me this Rolex Explorer, and I said, okay, well, that's great. I think it cost me $1,575. I put it on American Express at the time, and I remember I loved that watch, and then later down the track, I always just wanted nice things. Like if I wanted a fountain pen, I thought, well, what's the best pen? So I got a Mont Blanc. And you know, your fascination with luxury, you say, well, what is the best? I want to get the best things possible for me in life. You know, that's what I tried to do. The best clothes. You know, you try out some designer labels, and you try different things. And what actually happened was, many years later, so this is going into the mid to late 90s. The Rolex that I had, which was a Rolex Explorer 1, 1016 was the model. I actually sold it for $7,500. So I paid about just under $1,600 brand new for it, and I sold it for $7,500. And I thought to myself, geez, this is just so funky. You can actually buy an item, wear it for many years every day, and then sell it for many times what you paid for it. Now, admittedly, that was a bit of a fluke because that watch became very desirable, but I thought to myself, you know, that's really cool. If you're smart with buying things, you'll always be able to sell it for more than you paid for it. And that's what happened with me. I started learning about luxury watches, and I started buying and selling pieces, and now with my collection itself, I'm not really a dealer as such. I'm a collector. Like, I buy, the only time I sell a piece is if I don't find I'm using it anymore, it doesn't give me as much enjoyment as I wanted, or I want to buy something better, and you know, I have to sell a few lesser pieces off. So really, why do I collect luxury? I just found from that experience it was so wonderful to have something for many years, use it for many years, and make money on it. And that's always fascinated with me. And I've always thought, well, it's not just the profit I made on the watch. I enjoyed it for a number of years. And I mean, let's face it, we're all on this planet for a short time. What do you want to use? Do you want to use a 20-cent biro, or do you want to use a Cartier fountain pen? You know, what do you really, when you wake up in the morning, do you want to look at a cheap clock from IKEA, or do you want to look at a beautiful Cartier clock on your side table there? You know, and this is the thing. You say to yourself, well, I really want to give myself the best possible things in life, and it's fascinating. You think to yourself, well, what would the Queen wake up to? What would, you know, famous people, what brand of suitcase, what brand of watch would they wear? And you know, you very, very easily can say, well, you know, I have the same things as kings, queens, and rulers of the world have, and by buying them wisely in an auction or the secondary market, I can actually get rid of them anytime for more money than I paid. So that's always, that's the big reason. That's why I collect, is because I love the items. I just think they're really, really quaint. They're well made. They're well thought out. They're the most beautiful things on earth. A well-made wristwatch compared to just a piece of shit, it's so much more than just the sum of parts or the fact that it tells the time. It's a piece of art, and that's why I collect the things that I do. Another interesting question is why collect luxury items as such instead of putting that money into, say, a beautiful sports car? And the answer to that is that I've actually I've always loved cars. At 19, I bought a brand new BMW, and I've had many interesting cars. I've had a Mazda MX-5. I've had some Mercedes. I've had a Alfa Romeo, and it's really quite interesting. I went through a patch where I had an Alfa Romeo which absolutely cost a fortune to run, and I really loved that car. The car was you know, very Italian, and it was a beautiful car, but absolute bastard to run. I lost a lot of money when we sold it, not only in depreciation, but the running costs were horrendous. And I thought, oh look, the best thing I'll do then is I'll buy a classic Pagoda Mercedes from the 60s. That's a convertible Mercedes from the 60s, and it certainly won't have depreciation. And yes, that's true, it didn't have depreciation, but the running costs on a 45-year-old car were horrendous. Every bill I had on it had 3 zeros on the end, and you know, it's one of these things there, you kind of think to yourself, geez, you know, cars aren't really a great investment as such. And I then thought, well, shit, this is ridiculous. Constantly buying new cars or having some classic cars, it's just such a waste of money. Whereas when you've got a say a Patek Philippe wristwatch, if you've bought it on the secondary market for say half of what retail replacement is, how much would you really lose on it? I mean, it'll hold its own. And that's what I've done now. I don't like losing money on items, and I've had some lovely cars, but I've done so badly. I've lost so much money on them, and that's why now I love luxury goods. They're a small thing. Like with a car, you've got to park it somewhere. You've got to have registration. You've got to have you've still got to have insurance for luxury goods, but you've got to park it somewhere. It's constantly needing maintenance and repairs and things like that there. Whereas with a wristwatch, you can just put it into a bank safety deposit, safety deposit box. You don't have to constantly use it if you don't want to. You can easily put it in storage and enjoy it, at special occasions. And that's what I tend to do now. Is that I've a lot of my pieces I've put into the bank safe, and I'll take out when I'll have one or two wristwatches at any one time, and I'll alternate when I want something different. And this is the whole thing. If I put that money into buying new cars, which is what a lot of people do, you'd lose a lot of money. So that's why I really love luxury type items, because I like to think that everything I've bought on the secondary market I can sell for more than I've paid for it. And when you buy good examples of an item, like a really good condition, really fantastic piece, you very rarely lose money. And I've bought and sold a lot of pieces, and it's something that I really do enjoy as well. But I must say this: I'm more of a collector than a trader, because a trader would sell pieces at any time possible. And in the same token, the global financial crisis has not helped the market. The market's a bit flat, but I don't care. I love my luxury goods. Another good question is, what are my favourite things in my collection at the moment? And this is a great thing. Well, I'd say number one, my most precious item at the moment would be my Patek 5107 Calatrava watch, and that's a piece I bought a couple years ago. I had a small inheritance come my way. Retail replacement's about the $28,000 mark. I bought it, and I think it's a great watch. The next piece is a watch that my wife has bought me for my 40th birthday, which is coming up, and it's a Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso Grand Date. Just absolutely adore this watch. It's not only did my wife pick it for me, but it's a piece that I've loved that brand for so long, and the Reverso is just so iconic and so classic. So that's a piece I very dearly love. Probably my third most favorite thing would be my green Alza Tiger suitcase there, and that's just a beautiful Louis Vuitton hard case suitcase. This suitcase here would have retailed, it was only bought a couple of years ago, and it would have retailed for around about the $12,000 mark. So it was a very expensive suitcase, and I absolutely adore that. My fourth favorite thing would be my President briefcase. Now this is in monogram. I've actually owned 3 President briefcases, and these briefcases are about the $6,000 mark each. They're very expensive, but I've just loved them. The quality on them is just fantastic. And I'd say my fifth, my favorite item at the moment would be my Cartier Tank desk clock. It's just such a gorgeous, beautifully made piece. Now this one here is from the early 80s, but it's in brand new, it's like new condition. It's just I've never seen one this good, and I just absolutely love it. So that's my favourite 5 things at the moment there. I hope you've enjoyed the ArchieLuxury interviews, and please, Emily, if you've got some more questions, please shoot them to me in an email, and I'll put another video together for you to help you with this project. And also, all my loyal YouTube listeners, if you've got questions about ArchieLuxury's luxury collection, please shoot me an email, and I'll try and answer it for you. Thank you, and see you later.